The future of work for educators isn't always certain. In trying economic times, many qualified teachers are without permanent positions, and the outlook for full-time permanent jobs is bleak with government cuts to teaching positions in education. However, a great educator is able to teach and influence others in a multitude of ways, not simply within the four walls of a classroom. In fact, educators, so to speak, might not necessarily be qualified teachers with BEDs. The reason is that students no longer get new information from school exclusively. The 21st century student has access to new information at their fingertips. Anything one might want to learn is available with the click of a button. As a result, educators have had to adjust their practices to adapt to the 21st century. In a school setting, educators are beginning to shift their focus from course or grade-based content to skills students will need to succeed in the 21st century. These 21st century skills are critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication. The landscape and platforms used to teach in a school setting have changed drastically over the past 20 years. Once upon a time, a single desktop computer and an overhead projector with information on transparencies in a classroom was a very progressive and innovative way to include technology in teaching. Great educators have always adapted to their environment and will continue to do so with changing technology. Some might say the old way of teaching is on its way out, where teachers stood at the front of the class and taught a subject. Now, educators are more hands-on and involved in student learning. This might be through one-on-one interaction in a classroom setting or more through online platforms such as Moodle or MOOCs. I believe there will still be actual school institutions for grades K to 12 for many years to come. The general population is decreasing in Prince Edward Island, but there will be teaching jobs for many years to come in a traditional school setting. Where I see most changes happening would be in post-secondary and even secondary education, where students will be more independent and able to take charge of their learning based on their interests. Students already use technology in their everyday personal lives, and educators are beginning to incorporate those technologies in education. If students are used to using social networks, educators can use those platforms to open things up for discussion and communication. Online networks such as MOOCs allow students with a particular interest to collaborate and learn through connections with others with similar interests and knowledge. This can be for people who are living in the same city or all the way across the world. In collaborative networks such as these, everyone is both an educator and a student, as there's a lot of communication and collaboration in these types of networks and settings. It's hard to predict the future, but it would seem to me that current educators are beginning to prepare their students for the 21st century with those essential skills. With those skills, students take ownership over their learning and are free to use the skills learned to develop their abilities and interests in a more specific manner. Derek Thompson talked to the editor of The Atlantic about how increasingly there's a trend of people developing their niche interests and making that their life's work. The demands of the 21st century are and will be different than those of the 20th century with the Industrial Revolution. If people really hone in on their craft, passion, or special skill, then those people become the educators. Experts in a field who have learned the essential 21st century skills will have the ability to collaborate and connect with others and teach and learn from each other. While work as we know it today for educators is bound to change, the educators of the future will change with it, like they have before and like they will continue to do.